Welcome to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you burn fat, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey guys, it's your friend Debbie Potts here doing another podcast to talk about how we can reduce external sources of chronic stress and why we need to identify hidden internal stressors that you don't know about unless you run well-chosen functional lab tests. And I can tell you, I've gone through many years of functional lab testing, seeing different practitioners, doctors, naturopaths, trying to get help when I started to feel like crap in 2013, about March. And this is why I do what I do now, trying to help you avoid going through what I had happened to me starting back then. And I say 2013 because that's when the signs and symptoms of chronic fatigue and cellular level breakdown and burnout became a reality to me. And obviously, now that I know what I do know, it wasn't just that March it suddenly happened. It was built up over the years. And because I was not aware of the red flags, I ignored them. I didn't know about them, and I just kept pushing. And I know a lot of you out there that reach out to me can relate to my story, to my struggles, and probably can understand a little bit more about my purpose in life to help you avoid going through what I've done. And that's why I became an FDN practitioner. That's why I became a nutritional therapist. And now trying to, reduce my hours spent personal training clients, but I still love it. But I think, we really need to address the impacts of chronic stress, stressors that are chronic. That means nonstop, ongoing, overloading your beaker of stress because there's external stressors everywhere, especially now in our world. And then we have these hidden internal stressors that we don't know about. And I want to start today's show by talking about my own health. And I've shared my struggles, and I'm trying to be honest with you because I think that's what we need to do to help other people share our own personal stories and struggles, because I know you can relate. If you're a competitive athlete, you are addicted to being busy, you have the personality that more is better, and you don't know when to stop. And I wrote my book for this reason, to share what I used to do in my book, Life is Not a Race, and put together the holistic method, the 8 elements to really focus on how to transform the whole you from the inside out, which talks about nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, and of course, movement, mobility, and that includes getting outside, not training inside. And we've got digestion, proper digestion and gut health, happy, balanced gut biome. And then hydration, drink enough water, especially now with the coronavirus, that we really need to hydrate and keep your mouth moist, not dry mouth. Dry throat's not good. And then happiness is really, really important right now. I feel like it's my goal to make everyone find the joy and happiness and gratitude each day. It's a rough time out there in the world. I'm pretty much unemployed, and luckily my husband's job is able to keep going. But with this whole shutdown in our world and isolation, it's tough, and it's really hard to find the joy in life each day. But I'm in Seattle, where it's kind of crazy because that's where it kind of started. The virus started spreading from China over here, right near me in Kirkland, Washington, where there's a healthcare senior center, health, I don't know what it is, home, and that's the beginning, where it started coming from China, from those, I don't know, Chinese, where in China, but that animal market, wildlife animals. And if you watch that video on YouTube, you'll totally be grossed out, as I was, but I've seen those live markets in China. And, I don't know, this is a side note, tangent, but SARS, why didn't anyone start when that happened from these same live animal markets? Why didn't anyone control the Chinese government to get control on closing these markets? Because now, how many years later, we've got coronavirus coming from a similar live animal market, and you watch the videos how viruses are made because these animals are in cages on top of each other and they're half dead, and it's disgusting. And the sanitary condition and the people in the area, it was just gross. Or you can believe the other theory that it was made in a lab and the virus got taken out, if you go by the conspiracy theory. But nevertheless, we are where we are today. And, to find joy and happiness each day is something we really need to do, because when stress is on, nonstop, chronic stress, we shut down our immune system. It's depressed or dampened, however you want to say it. So I find it's really important for us to get outside. You don't have to be around people. I was at the downtown Bellevue Park yesterday. There's a lot of people that I think in the playground area were a little too close together. But if you spread out, or walking and running and biking and hiking away from people, it's that 6-foot distance in between. But I really think we need to be outside, getting that fresh air, getting exposure to daylight, not hibernating inside. All of our gyms are closed around here. So, finding ways to exercise each day. It's, if you're an athlete, we have a routine, right? I get up in the morning, 4:30, kind of naturally, even without my alarm on. I'll still wake up early morning riser. I get up, make my coffee. I go to the gym, lift weights, mobility Monday. I do run intervals and more legs on Wednesdays, and Fridays just kind of total body workout with some HIIT training. Tuesday, Thursdays during the wintertime, we were cycling on the spin bikes for an hour to work on our endurance, doing my maffetone training, heart rate, because it was too dark outside to ride yet and the weather wasn't great. But I would swim at lunchtime 3 days a week, Saturday morning swim, our master's swim program, and then I would go for a run Tuesday, Thursdays with a client, Fridays maybe on my own, or my husband and I would go for 4, 5 o'clock after work run, and Sundays. So now, you get this routine going, right? Whatever your routine is, you don't have to be an athlete or exercising as much as I do, because I train for triathlons that I'm not racing for. Well, I postponed them all until next year, which ends up working, right? Because everything's canceled anyways. So my point is, we have a routine, and the positive I'm getting to about this routine is that to mix it up, it gets kind of boring, repetitious if you're doing the same thing day in, day out, week after week. And, what it's doing to me and for our workouts with my husband and I in the mornings, I have been a personal trainer for 30 years, and I have taught yoga and Pilates mat class. Monday morning, I went and grabbed all my equipment, my more bands and BOSU and stability ball and wheel and all this stuff I had at the gym. I was renting space because I closed my own gym in September. And so now, mixing it up, I'm having us do yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We did a 45-minute yoga on YouTube that we found on TV. We have YouTube TV, but you can get YouTube and your smart TV. You can put a yoga video. I love Baron Baptiste yoga. I used to do yoga 4 or 5 days a week. Of course, more is better. The old Debbie, but I have not been able to get to yoga class or figure out how to schedule it in until I'm probably retired, which I feel like I am now. This is retirement life. Wake up when you want, have your coffee. I did yoga. And then what I did is I went for a walk outside. It's cold because it's clear blue sky out here, so we get colder weather. And yesterday and today, or Tuesday and Thursday, went outside for a walk around the block in my tank top and shorts or leggings, and it was refreshing. So I did that because it's weird to me to be at home all day, and I'm not home all day. I do have a client I go running with, and I did work with one client 6 feet apart doing a strength workout at the outdoor park. Or outdoor park. Parks are outdoor. Working outside at a park. And I brought my stuff there and I cleaned it up, and that was another option. But I'm not able to train my clients in the gym, and everyone's staying at home because we're supposed to be isolated. So think of the positive is that it's giving me opportunity. No one's making me do yoga. I'm getting time provided to me in my new schedule, temporary schedule, to do yoga that I love doing, and obviously need to do it more because my hips and everything were so tight, and poses I used to be able to do wheel and other poses that I haven't been able to do for a long time. So that's a bonus. And walking outside, I always want to do cold thermogenesis and walk with the sun rising to help my circadian rhythm, but I was always training clients at 7 a.m. So now I get to do that. And I'm able to connect with other people doing podcasting, and had a great call with Sean Wells this morning and Kirsten. And I get to talk to Dr. or Professor Noakes next couple weeks. And I get to talk to Dr. Ben Lynch today. So I was have an opportunity to podcast with these amazing leaders in our world, and how to figure out ways that we can help people find joy and happiness in a stressful time in our world. So I was talking to Sean Wells and Kirsten today about how we can do, a fasting challenge. But what I'm trying to do is offer my clients and whoever wants to join in a 5-day coaching program. And I was charging $127 for 5 days, and we'll have a 30-minute workout every morning, and like at 7 a.m. and I do it on Facebook Live or Zoom, and do a workout with that equipment, doing yoga, Pilates, circuit training, whatever, which I forgot to finish my workout schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is now circuit training class, and I made up this little workout, and we do 45-minute intervals. Tomorrow I'll do like Tabata timer or something like that, but it's kind of fun. It's a very small area. I kind of put together in my office to family room, TV room, and have my equipment out. And we just kind of switch up the equipment. So anyways, I wanted to help people. And so creating a 5-day wellness challenge was something I thought of this week. Of course, on my bike ride, where I get my great ideas when I ride on my bike. Probably when I go slower, I think more. And I think, getting people to join in online is very healthy, and creating that community feeling. And what we can do is, encourage everyone to walk outside 30 minutes a day when the sun's above you. Work on breathing exercises, work on intermittent fasting and time-restricted eating, doing keto carnivore type of food, and getting rid of the inflammatory foods, because those are all stressors. People that are buying out the bread that's in the grocery store, the shelves are empty. It's like, why are you eating bread anyways? It's not doing you any good. And we want to stabilize the blood sugar. So I encourage everyone to stock up on, we did Butcher Box. We did 2 orders this month, so we can stock up on our grass-fed burgers and steak. And I have salmon and halibut in the freezer. People got me from Alaska last year, fishing trips. And so really stock up on food that is satiating and will fill you up. And you only eat once to twice a day, and automatically do intermittent fasting. So this is the time that being fat adapted and trying to be keto, carnivore, whatever works for you, because we're all individuals, how much fat, carbs, protein you need to eat to balance your blood sugar, right? So we want to be fat burning machines and reduce the stress of eating a high carb diet, especially now when our immune system is 80% in our gut. And if we're causing more stress from the foods we're eating, it's going to cause stress to our body. I think it will impact your mitochondria function and your immune system. So writing information down right now is what I've been doing, researching, finding information that will help with my seminars I'm giving next month online, and then in July of the keto, or June, KetoCon and Jimmy Moore's low carb cruise. I probably will not be going on, sadly, but hopefully do something virtually. It's to teach people how chronic stress impacts the whole you, including your ability to burn fat, optimize your health, so longevity in there, mitochondria health. Your health starts at a cellular level. And all health often starts with our gut. And then I want to work on improving your performance, not just for athletes, because this goes for all of us. Improving our performance in daily life. And life is different right now. As I said, we're at home, we're working at home, people have their kids home. And, really working on our new life right now and adapting to the changes and making the best of it that we can. Not watching TV excess hours a day, not stuck to Facebook and Instagram and news updates. There's just too much out there. And I think, again, as I always say, less is more. And we don't need to stay that connected that it's making us psycho. So doing a low carb diet right now or eating low carb is really beneficial. And if you're not fat adapted, getting your body to switch over from a carb burner furnace to a fat burning furnace is really a great opportunity because you're at home a little bit more than normal. If you're not able to work at your office, and most people are told to work at home. And sadly, a lot of people are unemployed and can't afford anything. They can't even afford. I heard this girl on the TV or the radio this morning has $100 to her name. She's in the food industry, restaurants, and it's just sad. So to make the best of this sad situation, switching to more high fat, higher protein, eating natural, real foods to balance your blood sugar is a great area to work on. So Sim Land has tons of information in his book, Metabolic Autophagy, and how we can be keto adapted and how to switch over to fat burning engine is what I've talked about for years. We have 100 episodes you can catch up on called Fit, Fat, Fast, our original podcast I co-hosted with John Smith. And that is on my website in the podcast archives. I think you should be able to find it. Let me know if you don't on debbiepotts.net. So we want to maybe take this opportunity to burn fat because this is just like feast or famine, what people, our ancestors did. They didn't have food around all the time. And now that I feel like we're going to be in a definite financial crisis, I'm trying to keep the lights turned off and, use things what we can at a minimal level, keep the heat down, and really start to conserve energy, conserve finances, because I have no idea what's going to happen in the future. Food-wise, I think you can easily start learning how to do 12-hour fast and work towards a 16-hour fast, and then make sure you're hydrating, maybe doing some once a week at 24-hour fast, but no more than that. I think once a month. I know Sean Wells was doing a monthly 3-day fast, and I think this might be a good opportunity to do intermittent fasting, but eating keto, carnivore, or low carb, or whatever you need, your macronutrients. Again, it's always individual. It depends on your body, your metabolic type, your food sensitivities, your genetic type, what your ratio and types of foods for your macros, carbs, fat, and protein. I do better with more protein. I completely feel full and satisfied, lose cravings. I'm full for hours. I end up eating often about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I can't eat and work out. So I just did have a little nuts and cheese and some meat, salami, but I can't eat and then go running. So I have to time eating because I'm trying to experiment, actually, another tangent, but I'm trying to experiment using Vespa, or if I'm ideally eat real food when I'm at home, time it. So I'm running at noon. I ate a little snack around 8:45, 9 o'clock in the morning, because if I don't eat now, I won't eat until I have 3 o'clock is when I could eat my meal. I think that is sometimes too long for me, even though I can push through it. But sometimes I think we need to be aware of pushing through it isn't good for our hormones and causing stress on our body at a hormonal level. And that's, again, individual. So anyways, we can take this opportunity to become fat burners I was measuring my ketones. I've been not doing that recently, but 0.5, 0.7 is what I've been measuring. I stopped eating for sure after 5 o'clock, but yesterday, I didn't get home until 3:30, so I didn't eat until then. And then I went for a bike ride last night because now it's light until 7, so we can ride 1.5 hours and, get outside, enjoy that longer days. And I didn't eat afterwards. Now, I sometimes am curious what if I have some bone broth or have athletic greens in the daytime, but you have to evaluate how you feel and make sure you're not feeling your body, especially for females, is thinking it's starving. So the challenge I find being fat adapted and doing more keto, carnivore, or in intermittent fasting what am I trying to say? That I find I'm not really hungry. So I read a lot of the articles of fasting when it's not good to do for females and for athletes is because I think we don't eat enough. And it's not the keto carnivore part. It's a combination of the two that we get to be efficient at burning fat, but you don't eat enough calories. And that could be a stress on your body, doing too much calorie restriction too often. So anything too frequently can be a stressor. So that Goldilocks effect goes to, too low of carbs, too much fasting, too much nutritional ketosis. Some people I've read doing more cyclical keto and fasting. So I think of it as Sunday to Thursday. I keep a 16-hour to 20-hour fast, depending on my day, because my schedule's different each day. And then when I do eat, I keep focusing on just my meal will be protein and fat. I haven't really been doing vegetables. It's just easier to whip up a burger, a couple of burgers and a cheese on it, or a little steak that you get from Butcher Box, and they want it in a package, so it's easy to cook up something. And then I just add some pesto or some mustard, or yesterday I did turkey slices with Swiss cheese and put some mustard on it, rolled it up, and had some nuts. So it's not gourmet, it's not creative. My husband's a chef, so weekend he'll make something Friday night or Saturday night and have a bigger dinner. So that will be kind of my keto cyclical, because he'll make some vegetables, or he did what did he make last week? Brussels sprouts. They were amazing with bacon and made in bacon fat, but a little more carbs. And then he had some sweet potatoes that he cooked with some onions and roasted them. And I just had a couple of them, but if I eat carbs, I don't get full and I overeat. So that's why I just kind of do minimal, even the vegetables. But the Brussels sprouts are amazing. So I automatically, without intentionally doing it, do a little higher carbs Friday, Saturday, and keep my carb count low without, again, intentionally doing it during the week, because I don't really cook and I don't feel like making a meal that takes more than 10 minutes, and just have something I can grill on the stovetop and be done with it. So, and then I sit and enjoy my food. So going back to chronic stress, I think what we need to do is make sure we sit, breathe, reset, reboot, and switch over to that parasympathetic nervous system. Rest and digest. Get out of the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system when you're eating, and as much as you can throughout the day. So eating should be sitting down and think, you're Italian sitting there. French, they eat a 2-hour lunch. They sit and relax and eat slowly. Chew your food. Put your fork down in between bites. All that kind of stuff is really essential. So as I say all the time, the focus today is to talk about reducing stress. But if you're eating in a stressed state of mind, you're in that fight or flight, you're shutting off the digestion system. So you can look at any of those charts. Sometimes I put them up, that parasympathetic functions versus the sympathetic nervous system functions. That it is easy to be eating on the go, but you're causing your body to not properly digest your food. So even if you are eating low carb, higher fat, keto, carnivore, paleo, keto, whatever you want to call it, that you're doing that works for you as an individual, you have to make sure you're having proper digestion. So it's what you eat, when you eat. That's intermittent fasting, time restricted eating. So it's not like over 15 hours. It's in an 8-hour window ideally. How you're eating, sitting, focus, relax, breathing, pausing for a bit, not doing 20 things at once. And then why you're eating. Are you hungry? Are you eating when you're just starting to get hungry, not waiting till you're starving, eat the house down, and not eating because you're bored, because you're stuck home right now? So think about that. You know, you want to be burning fat. We should be keto adapted. That's kind of what I started to say before as I get on my tangents, but this is what people did in the day. They didn't have food available all the time. And so they'd automatically feast and then feed. And so that's what we should be doing now, as we are not able to maybe afford food or have access to food, you know, stocking up on food for the winter months as they did in our history, our historical times. Our ancestors, they didn't have food all winter in some parts of the world. If you look at your genetics, you can see where your ancestors are from. I am primarily from Northern European region. So think about the foods they ate. They don't have, you know, as much growing in the wintertime of vegetables. So wintertime they eat more meat and stews and stuff like that. So think of that now as we're changing our lives around and we're trying to be on a budget and trying to feed our body, not feed our body out of boredom. So metabolic flexibility is something else. We want to be fat adapted and, you know, get yourself in a good, healthy state of mind, getting the brain fueled by ketones instead of glucose to help eliminate brain fog, memory issues, stuff like that. But, you know, being flexible that you can eat a little more carbs in the weekend, then I can still be showing ketones the next day on my Keto Mojo measurements. So, you know, it takes people to be fat adapted or keto adapted 2 to 4 weeks or even up to 3 to 6 months, Simlian says in his book. And I know everyone's different and everyone wants specific answer for everything. Like, how much should I eat? What should I eat? And how long will it take me? No one's the same. So don't think of it as exact. Think of it as a starting point and use it as a template. But you want to measure your blood sugar. You know, normal, we want to keep between 80 and 90. After eating, you can measure it, and 2 to 3 hours after eating and measure it too to see how your food, if you're eating the right type of foods for your body. Ketones, you know, 0.1. Some people say 0.5 to 3.0 is optimal ketone zone. Nutritional ketosis is what most of us just needs to be in, so that 0.5 to 1.5. But people with chronic illness and inflammation and different things, health reasons, they should be maybe a little more into ketosis. Optimal ketone zone is about that 1 to 3 range. So think about ways you can reduce stress. So we talked today about nutrition. We can talk about sleep next time. In my book on Amazon, the Holistic Method Manual, there's a chapter on each of the 8 elements, and I wrote it 5 years ago, but it's the same kind of stuff, you know, breathing exercises, what you can do, sleep hygiene, and you can listen to my amazing podcast with this young guy, Matt, from the Blue Blocker Glasses, and he's a smart kid, and he had a great podcast episode with me. They shared lots of information on sleep, circadian rhythm, and blocking blue lights, watching the sunrise, watch sunset, and resetting that circadian rhythm. But you know, I think sleep hygiene is really important right now to stay healthy. Think about when you're sleeping, you're having the body rest, rebuild, recharge at a cellular level, and detoxification mostly happens there in your liver. So we want to make sure we're getting rid of those toxins through that pre-wash cycle, phase 1 and phase 2. We want to have that wash cycle, and then phase 3, you can think of it as that rinse and get rid of those toxins by doing the infrared sauna, walking, sweating, exercising, getting binders as activated charcoal, chlorella, bentonite clay, things that will help bind your toxins that you're releasing from your fat cells and work on eliminating them out through your feces and your bile will remove so many good bile flow, and then through your kidneys, through urine. So much to go into. So I want to be able to help you during this crazy time right now. I know, life is different, and we need to join together and figure out, hey, let's do a 5-day wellness challenge. Let's get everyone doing yoga twice a week, doing a body weight circuit training 3 times a week, getting outside for walk, run if you run, going for a bike ride is what I've been trying to do more, and so much information. So I'm excited to podcast a little more right now and help you out, and excited to share information with you each day. Might have a few more episodes released right now as I try to figure out ways to get free information out there. But today, think about, all disease starts in the gut, and, go work on your gut health by eating the right foods, eliminating that chronic stress, which, starts with when you're eating, to get out of that stress mode and get into that rest and digest mode, and working on getting rid of environmental toxins, those stressors in our environment, and, taking care of your gut health by avoiding inflammatory foods, so GMO soy, corn, peanuts, and avoiding, ideally pasteurized cow dairy is inflammatory to a lot of people, and having the gluten in grains eliminated, vegetable oils, canola oils, all those are inflammatory foods. So we really want to eat a clean, real food diet, get rid of the junk, and work on liver health by just fasting. You don't can't afford all the supplements we're all suggesting. Just try fasting and exercise and being outside, because our liver needs to be healthy right now, and we need to work on that gut health. And I think you have to remember to take care of the whole you from the inside out, and see what we can do to stay healthy and get through this time. And the one kind of positive thing to think about as well is that it's connecting the world together. You can blame the Chinese government for not having rules, regulations on their animal wild market there and what they create in diseases from that area. But the rest of the world, we can unite and try to see how we can get healthy on the inside and out. So if you want more information about functional lab testing and health coaching that I do as a health detective, and do the labs that we do as a hormone panel, we measure hormones, immune function, digestion, detoxification, energy systems, and nervous system. So we call this hidden internal stressors that we can help identify imbalances, dysfunction, and areas of opportunity by clinically correlating your lab results with your lifestyle, nutritional therapy, metabolic chaos, we call it intake forms. And so we assess all this information together to help create a protocol that's individualized called DRESS for Health Success Protocol. So DRESS starts for diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation. So that's what we do as FDN practitioners. That's called Functional Diagnostic Nutrition Practitioners. And I combine my knowledge with nutritional therapy using our assessments there, and then DNA Fit or Strategene. There's different programs I'm finding more about. So I am happy to help you, because this is where I'm coming to you from at home, working on educating you and helping create some new programs to help people stay healthy on the inside and out. All right, head to debbiepotts.net. Please send me any questions, comments, suggestions, any of that. And please share the podcast with other people. If you could do a shout out, Instagram is Low Carb Athlete, and Facebook Low Carb Athlete. That would be great. I love your support. I love hearing from you. And let me know how you are doing where you live. So send me a message and we'll talk again next time. Thank you. Go out and get some fresh air.
Thanks for listening to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook. or at debbiepotts.net. You can help us to continue to grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.